Hi guys. So thank you for the great response on my videos. So after a couple of requests, I actually selected and isolated one particular request, which is speaking about how do we create dynamic proposals using Airtable and how that can be used inside your own workflow of an agency or whatever the contracting service that you're working with. So in this video, I'll take you through that where you can choose a particular service that you're selling. It could be on Airtable. In this specific video, I'm going to take Airtable as an example. So we can use Airtable to be our proposal generator, where you can choose a particular service and it will have a particular template connected to that, and that template will basically be used when you choose that service, and you can change the variables inside your Airtable, like the name of the company, the name of the person that you're dealing with, the amount that you're dealing with, and a few more variables depending on the proposal itself. And this will directly be converted to PDF and attached to your particular end, what do you call, end email that you're going to send. So I'll just take you through the whole process once again. Okay, so basically the automation is divided into three parts. First part basically generates the proposal. The second part creates an email for the finalized proposal, and the third part creates the invoice and the payment link once your proposal is approved. Either you can have it directly, and without approval you can send the payment link and the invoice, or you can have an approval in place where the client approves it in some or the other way. It could be an email reply, it could be a button or something like that. So we'll just isolate the part one in here to speak about it. So what we're going to do in here is we're going to use Airtable to input the customer details. It can be directly via your Airtable row, or it can be via the Airtable forms that we create. And once you fill in the customer details like customer name, company name, and the product that they're using, then that's when that's when it will be stored in the Airtable, and there will be a trigger button called generate proposal in there, which will basically generate a proposal from an existing variable Google Doc template that we will be using for that particular product. Let's say if we have three products, then we can have three different proposals which can have to speak about three different things, and that particular Google Doc template will be used to trigger the generation of the new Google Doc, new proposal. So each proposal will be given a unique proposal ID. That particular proposal ID will be the generated proposal will then be saved into Google Drive in a particular folder with that particular proposal ID. Once that proposal ID is once that proposal is saved in Google Drive, then the same information will be updated back into the Airtable, and then we can have a notification in here. This will be the scenario one for our automation. The second part of the whole automation will be once the proposal is finalized, like once we get the proposal directly into our backend where we can access the proposal, and you might have a few manual changes which you might directly want to do it in that Google Doc. Once that is finalized, there will be another trigger that we can choose, which is called create email draft. Now, while we are putting in the customer details in our first part, we will also take the email of your end customer. So this trigger of creating an email draft will basically create an email draft inside your Gmail to that particular person. You can have different people under CC for your team to be seeing that. Once we choose that trigger, the finalized proposal will be converted into PDF in the same folder that we place inside our Google Drive. That then there we can also have a template for our email draft, which can be dependent on each individual aspect of proposal. It can be connected to a proposal itself. Let's say if I'm selling a service A, then I can have template A as my template for the proposal, and then I can have email A as a template for the email that is being sent out. So that will be used in here to create a draft, and then the finalized proposals PDF will be attached, and the company deck. You can also again connect another variable called company deck to your product itself. So you can have company deck A attached, company deck A, email A, and proposal A. All these things, three things attached to your product A, and then you can have a notification to the admin. This is the part 2. So till here we have the generated proposal and the draft is created. Once your proposal is approved, it can be either be manually, or you can directly automate that part where it is auto approved and then the invoice is created and the payment link. In our case, I'm using Zoho Books to create an invoice, and then I'm creating a payment link via Stripe or Razorpay on approval or directly. So once the proposal is approved, the create invoice and payment link will be there. Will be a button inside the Airtable which we can use to create the invoice directly, and then the payment link will be generated. Once this is generated, you can update back to the Airtable and notify to the admin. So this is about the flow of how the automation will work. Now we'll jump into the execution part inside our make scenario. So just to make you understand, we have two services. We will be using service A and service B. This can be about we will choose a specific thing. So service A and service B, both the services will have three independent templates connected to it, which will be a company deck template, email template, and proposal template. So the company deck template and the proposal template both will be converted into PDFs with the variables that we get in our proposal within the Airtable, and both will be converted to PDF and will be and the email template will be used as an introduction in our email that is being sent to that end customer. So it's the same thing on service B. We have two proposal and one proposal template and one company deck template. Both will be converted to PDFs and will be attached to the email template. So yeah, let's jump in. Okay, so coming to the Google Drive, what I've done is I've created a folder called proposal generator in here, where I have 3 documents, one Google Slides and 2 Google Docs document. First one is the company deck template with the product one. Make sure that you have something which you can understand as prefix, and then you have email. When I've created an email template with the same prefix, and then the proposal template. So these 2 templates will be converted to PDFs while drafting the proposal, and this will be the email template whose text will be used inside our email draft. So this is the company deck which is created, where we have a company deck, then we have a small introduction in here, then we can have images of the brands that we work with, and then the testimonials in here. This can be created according to what you want to achieve. And then I have an email template document which basically has hello and name. This again is going to be a variable directly which will be fetched from the Airtable row, and then we have a line greeting them, and then some kind of information to make sure that it feels like you have researched on this. And then you have the attached you have a statement for speaking about attached documents in here, and then when you're ready, please send us an email. And then I have a third document which is the proposal template itself, which can again be modified. Please mind that the double square brackets starting and the name in between, the brand is basically the variable. The whole thing will be replaced with the brand name. So we can have different variables inside our Airtable which we want to create a dynamic proposal of. Then we have a heading in here, heading, and then we have a letter from the founder, blah blah blah. Then you can change whatever you want in here, and then we have a proposal. Then again, this is for a specific product one. In this case, the product one is e-commerce scaling. It can be it can be e-commerce social media management, and then our proposal could include that. This is going to be stable. We can have dynamic in here, but I would not really suggest, because small dynamic things, it can get complicated after a point. So then we have the commercials in here. Service name is what we are going to use as a variable, and then commercials, that is the actual numbers that we're going to use. And then we have a statement in here that if you're using an Indian entity, then we will charge an 18% extra, and then we are confident about blah blah blah, and then the founding. And then we also have a contract directly in here. What I would ideally suggest is that you can have a contract as a separate file which can be included in here, and which could be used to create a contract, but it certainly depends on what you're trying to achieve. So yeah, this is about it. Let's just jump into the Airtable part to understand how we can use these documents there. Yes, so for the Airtable setup, what I've done is I've created a new base called YT. This is, in my case, YouTube. Proposal generation is the name of the base. It was a blank base, and then we created three sheets in this. One is the proposal generation itself, one is the webhooks, and the third is the services that we have. In our case right now we only have one, which is the e-commerce social media, but we will also do something similar for the next one, which is the e-commerce website development. Okay, so coming to the proposal generation, I usually have a lot of elements, columns in here which are hidden. But right now I do not have anything hidden, and I have put across everything which is required in here. It is not so complex as it might seem, but we'll go step by step in here. So what I have as a first column in here is basically a formula field which connects to a particular number in front of it. Like I have a prefix which is a P8, and an auto number which is connected to this. Auto number field is basically a field which automatically keeps generating a new number. So let's say if I have a new row, then it's going to generate a new number, and it's going to go sequential in that manner. So I'm using auto number inside the formula in here, and then I have a field for customer name, which can be anything, and then I have a brand name, which both of these will be used in our proposal and different places. And then I have another long text field which is called proposal, which has the details about the proposal. Either we can have it in here, or we can directly update it in the proposal. Ideally we can have it inside the proposal, but if you think you would want to control it from here, then you can do it here. And then you have the service name, which is the name of the service itself. Again, you can do this here, or you can directly have it inside the proposal. And then we have the commercials, which is again a long text, where I have the text, which is this is just a sample commercial part. And then I have email template ID, which will again be connected to a different service part. We'll come to that later. Then there is service selection, which is a direct selection of services from inside the services tab in here. Then we have the service name, which is again a lookup field which we get from the services tab. Then we have the proposal template ID, which we again get from the services tab. Then the company deck ID, which we again get from the services tab. Then the email text, which we get from the services tab. Then the workflow, which we get from the webhooks. And then we have the webhook URL in here, which we get from the webhook. And then we have a button for running the webhook, which is again the webhook URL, which we get from the webhook, and the record ID. And we send the record ID. This is something which we get directly from the Airtable. Airtable directly has a record ID field which they create, which is not dynamically displayed. So we actually have to create another column in here with the record underscore ID and this to auto show the record ID. So that is connected to this. So what we are essentially doing in here is we are sending the webhook URL, and this is the formula which make.com will accept as a record ID. and then we have a field for if the proposal is generated, this will be marked as tick if it is generated. Excuse me. Then the presentation ID, and then the view proposal itself, which will be a formula again, where we have a standard Google document prefix and the presentation ID, which is the presentation ID will be the ID which will be generated with the presentation, with the end proposal that we create. And then once our workflow is done, it will be marked as email draft. Now, email draft will be marked as done or not. And then in the webhooks sheet, we have 3. In this case, I will be using create email draft make.com. Then we will have 3 webhooks. These are independent automations scenarios which will be running. Step 1 is the generate proposal, which we will have a webhook in here which will take the proposal, which will get triggered when we want to generate a proposal. So as soon as we have a webhook in here, then it will be connected to the record ID from here. So this generation of proposal can be triggered from here. So let's say if I want to generate a proposal, then I directly have to come to webflow in here, a workflow in here, and then generate proposal. And then once I have the URL in here, I just have to press run webflow, which will then run the automation which is defined in here, which will be connected to our scenario in Make. The same goes for the email draft. The same goes for the create payment link. And then the third sheet, which is the services sheet, we will have the services in here. Each individual service will be attached its own proposal template ID, its own company deck ID, and its own email template ID. So I'll just do it in here. So the template ID which we get in here. So this is the company deck ID. That company deck, the Google slides, documents, or presentations, or whatever we have. This is the ID that we get from after the D and the slash till the end before the edit part. So this is my company deck ID which has to be stored, which will be in here. And then this is my email template ID which will be copied from here to here, and this will be saved in the email template ID. And then I have the proposal itself, which is a template ID in here, and then I will be copying this from here to here and putting it in my proposal template ID. So now we have our complete workflow ready. I'll just delete this so that we're not confused. And then I will also, and then now everything is connected in place. What we have to do now next is create a scenario on Make, where we have to create 3 independent scenarios. One to create a proposal, generate a proposal from a template. One to create a email draft, and one to create a payment link for it. It can either be Stripe or Razorpay, depending on if it is India or not. We can go ahead with Stripe to create a standard generate payment link, which will be emailed to your customer. Okay, so in our Make, we will be creating, first will be the webhook. So webhook in here is, webhook in here is, it's like this is something which we send from our make.com as information request, and as soon as that is triggered, then this is the flow that will run. So webhook basically acts like a connecting point between your medium. It's like a communication portal between you and your automation. So we will be using a webhook in here. So as soon as we get the webhook, we will get the record ID from the webhook with the webhook from Airtable. So once we take that webhook, we're gonna go and search in Airtable. We are gonna get a single record via the webhook. As soon as we get the record ID, as soon as we get the record details from Airtable, we will then basically duplicate a document in our in our Google Drive. So what we are, because we need to duplicate our proposal template itself, what we created in our this one. So basically the proposal template has to be duplicated from this by creating a new copy, and then we make the replacement of the brand name and the customer name in there. So what we're doing in here is docs. We are creating a document. Yeah, so what we can do is we create an existing template document, replaces any tags. So this module also allows you to replace images by the new images. Okay, and then replace a text. Okay, so create a copy of an existing template. Okay, and what I create. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to choose a document in here and the new. Okay, so now that we have a document from a template, we will then replace the text inside the document. Okay, replace excuse me, by the new text in the document. Yeah, and once we have it replaced, we are gonna move the document into the folder that we want. In our case, what I've done here is, this is our proposal generated, the home folder. I've created another folder inside this, which is the generated proposals. So as soon as a new proposal is generated, it's going to get moved into this so that it is organized. And then once that is moved, it has to go back into Airtable. Then we need to update a record with its ID, and then we will have, yeah, so from our update a record, it is going to update back into the Airtable, and then from that we will have another Airtable record for we will have another notification system where we will be notified, so we can send ourselves a message. Okay, so this is the scenario so far. So we are gonna catch the trigger, create proposal, and then we're gonna get customer details in here, and then we're gonna duplicate proposal template. Then we're gonna update new customer details, and then once that is done, then we move the generated proposal, organize the generated proposal, and then update the details in Airtable, and then notify the admin. Okay, so this will be the flow for our proposal generation, and I'll finish the scenario for the other two as well, and then we'll jump into the automation. We'll jump into each individual automation to make sure that the whole web workflow is running. Okay, so for the second step, we will again be using the webhook as our first trigger point, which is a custom webhook. And then once we get the webhook, we need to search for the record, which is again get a record. And then once we have that information, we will be getting the Google Doc proposal ID in here. For that, we need to now go back to our Google Doc. Now we need to go back to our Google Drive and then download a file from there. Okay, and then once that file is downloaded, we need to convert it to PDF, which is again gonna be inside, and then we need to convert it into PDF. Okay, so this is the image we got, and then do we have another create a document from template? downloads a document in the required format. Okay, perfect. We actually have this, so we don't really need this part, which is we will be using the downloaded document. Once the document is downloaded, this is the okay, so we will catch the create draft trigger, then get customer details, and then here we have download proposal. Then we need to download another document, which is the company deck. Download company deck, and then once we have the company deck and the proposal downloaded, we need to create a draft in Gmail, which is this. And we create a draft because we don't really want to make a mistake there, because it is about the proposal. So ideally you would want to fix things and then make sure that you do it. So sending an email can be manual. And okay, so this is email draft. So yeah, so we have this as a trigger, then we get the customer details, then we download the proposal that is generated, then we download the company deck, and then we create an email draft. We can also create another module in between to organize the files. So it can be, okay, I think Google Drive should do, or Google Doc itself. Is there a one with the move a document? No. So Google Drive, and then yeah, move a file. Okay, perfect. So we need to organize the documents. Yeah. So this will organize the documents. We can create a specific folder for it, and then we can create another one to notify the admin. Yeah, so this will be the flow for the whole proposal draft. Let me just run through it again. It's just creating the draft trigger, which will get fired from the Airtable. Then we get the customer details from there. Then we download the proposal which is created. And then once we download that proposal, we also need to download the company deck. In our case, the company deck is not dynamic, it is static. And then both the documents are again organized into some file and folder that we want to place it into. And then it creates the draft. And once that draft is created, then we notify the admin. So yeah, this is about it. So let's directly, now I don't want to go into the third scenario, which is the creation of Stripe. I'll come to that later, but now we'll finish the scenario and start seeing how the whole automation would work. Okay, so coming to the create proposal scenario, what we're gonna do is create a webhook in here for creating the proposal. Create proposal from YT. Okay, and this is gonna generate a particular link. We need to copy this address and then come back to our Airtable. In our create proposal, we need to paste this URL. Perfect. So this URL, webhook URL, will be used here with the record ID, because yeah, with the record ID. So this basically will, once we click on this button, this will basically make to consider this particular row for which we are trying to create, for which we are we're asking the automation system to create a proposal for. Okay, so I need to run this once in order for it to catch it. So I just click on run. Okay, so this is not catching, so I need to unlink. So this will basically run only this. So I click on run once. Okay, so create proposal. Okay, so let's do it. So run once, and then this is accepting, and then now I need to click on run webhook. This webhook will basically, this run webflow button is working because we have selected a particular workflow here, which is connected to this webhook. Okay, so I just click on run webflow, and then it is accepted. So that means that it started running, and then we will be getting the trigger in here. Okay, this basically got run, and now that we have our output, we got the record ID for which we want to create a proposal for. Now we're going to connect this, and we are going to search for that particular record ID in our base, which is proposal generation in here, and then the table is proposal generation, and then the record ID is what we got from here, and then this is going to search for that record ID. Okay, we can copy this record ID and click on OK. No, I think we can directly search for it, and then we display pretty much everything from there. No, we don't need this part. Okay, so we need to run this record, which is run this module only, and then we paste the record ID for our what we've searched for, and then we got everything in here. Now we need to duplicate the proposal template. So the proposal template is again interlinked to the same in the Airtable. So what we do is we will connect we choose the by mapping, and then we need to choose the record, the particular document ID of the proposal. Okay, so what we have as proposal in here will be the proposal template ID, and this is the ID for the proposal template. We're going to use this, and then okay, we can directly replace it using this, and then okay, so what in our case what we'll do is we'll choose the brand. I don't know what we have. Okay, we have brand and we have name. Okay, we have brand and we have name. Okay, so we'll click two, which is again name. Please make sure that okay. Oh, yeah, so now we need to replace that with the brand name in here. This is the one, and then replaced the name with this is the one. Okay, and we don't have any images to replace right now, so I'm just replacing these two to trigger the automation, trigger the one, and then now we will need to name it. So I have a proposal number in here, and for that I want to also know the service that we're gonna be promoting for. So I can do the, no, I don't want the service. I think I will take the proposal number, excuse me, and for the customer name, and yeah, I think this is good. So now for the new documents location, we will directly use the generated folder and not actually have to worry about the moving of it in the later stage. So we just directly go into the proposal generator and then create another, choose another folder which is generated proposals. This will be the new location with this new name. Okay, once we have that created, then we also need to replace a few more things, which is the commercials. Yeah, so I'll just check what we have. Okay, we removed the brand, we replaced the brand and the name, and then we have the commercials in here and the service name. Perfect, service name and commercials. So what we need to do in here is we need to replace from the document ID by mapping, and then this is the document ID, and then replace the text with service name with the new text, which will be the actual service name, and then what do we have as commercials? Yeah, this is the one. So I need to please make sure that it is pretty case sensitive. So please make sure that there are no mistakes. Okay, and this is the commercials. And just for safe side, we'll also replace the brand name again. Brand and name. So this is the one, and then here is the customer name. And then what else do we have here? Service name, commercials, brand, name, brand, proposal. Okay, we also have proposal. Okay, and this is the proposal. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll save this. We don't, so this is already organized, so we don't need this. And then we need to update the details in here. So we have the base as proposal generation, and then we need to replace it with the, okay, we have the record ID, which is this. Okay, and we need to replace the part that proposal is generated, yes, and then we need to add the end proposal, duplicate proposal template. So we need the new document ID, which is this. Okay, is it okay? We'll remove this for now. Okay, yeah, so this is good. Let's just try this. Okay, let's just run this. This is organized, this is saved, and I'll click on run once, and then come back here. Here we need to trigger this by clicking on run workflow, and then yeah, so we got the customer details. You're duplicating the template, the new customer ID, the new things are updated, and then the Airtable is updated. So let's just hope that this is working. So this is the presentation ID which got saved, which is the end proposal ID. So I just need to click on the open proposal, which will open that particular document. So as you can see, this is created for that particular brand, and then this is the name which got replaced, and then all the things in between, and then the proposal details and the commercials. Again, this was the service name initially, then we are this was the commercials, and then here we add the brand name, and then in the contract we also have all the things from the proposal part, and the name of the person, the brand, and yeah, and then we need to see if we have it saved into the document one. Yeah, so this is created. Perfect. So our complete automation for creating a proposal was done here. We'll jump on to the part where we use this and started the proposal from here to creating a draft for it by attaching the company deck and using the email template. Okay, so it's gonna be the same thing for this one, where we will create a new webhook, which will be create draft for YouTube, and then this will create a link. We copy this link, come back to our Airtable, put it in the webhooks inside this. Okay, and then we come back here. We need to change the web workflow from this to this, and this got connected, and then we will get the record ID. Okay, perfect. So we need to run this once. I'll just save this. I'll just remove the link from here and save it, and then click on run once, and come back to Airtable and then run the workflow. Perfect. Yeah, this is what we got as a record ID. Now that we have the record ID, we need to connect the dots. We will do the same thing for Airtable in here. The base will be this, and then we go into proposal generation, and now we have the record ID, which is this. I will just copy the record ID for running this, and then I paste the record ID. I will be getting the record ID in here. Now I need to download the proposal, which will be, I already have the presentation ID for that, so we need to click on this to map it and then connect the document ID in here. In our case it is presentation ID, and then the document should be a PDF. Okay, perfect. Then we need to download the company deck. Again, it's going to be mapped out here, and then the document ID for company deck is this, and then the document should be PDF. Okay, and then both these documents, okay, I don't really, okay, yeah, this is good. So we don't really need to have a copy of the PDF because we are anyway sending it in the mail. So we'll remove this from here and then organize this, and then I create an email draft. What is this? What folder is this? Okay, so we need to choose an email address from here. In this case, I'll just do this. Okay, I'll do this, and then subject will be proposal for the service name. Okay, and it can be the brand name in here. So now we also need the content ID. Okay, so we'll do the attachments in here. So this one will be this, and I'll add another one will be this. So we have files for both. Now we need to click on folder. What folder is this? Okay, let's see if I choose this. This is, I'm not sure what folder this is, but let's just do that because I never used this part. But yeah, for the content we need to add another module for downloading the content from a particular Google document. So get content of the document, and by mapping, and then we have the email template ID here, and then we are going to get the content from this. This can be retrieved email content, and then we will be using that content in here, which will be the text content, body content, paragraph. I actually need to run this to test what is happening. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just go here, and I have it in services, the email template ID. So I just need to run this module once by giving it the template ID, yes, and then we are getting the output, yes, and we will be placing it here. So this is the text content. Okay, perfect. So we have everything in here. We don't need the notification for now. Okay, so this should ideally create the whole scenario for us. So let's just test it once. We save this, we reorganize this, and then make sure that your proposal is created before you actually create the draft, because it can run into errors in, or maybe you can combine both the automations into one. So I just click on run once, come back here, and then proposal generation, and run the webhook workflow. This is downloading the proposals, it's downloading the company deck, this is retrieving the text, and this is the email draft. Perfect. So let me just go back to my Google Gmail to check the draft, and here we have it. Okay, I think there is an error here. Let me just see. Okay, so what this did is basically created a draft inside this particular folder, which can be copy pasted. So since it is a proposal, I think that it is much better workflow where you have the PDF documents in here, which are again downloadable. A part of this which is it did not convert it to HTML, that is a problem. So we can do that by adding another step in between, where the contents can be fetched as in HTML. There should be a way. Okay, if not this, then we can convert this into via adding an OpenAI module to convert it to HTML. So like for example, I can do it here with max 2048, and then I can choose the model which is 4o in this case, and then here the role should be user, and then convert this email template into into Google into HTML, and then we can do it like this, and we can have the contents from there to here. Or there are multiple ways to do that, but this is something which is possible, where we can do this and then use the content which we get from OpenAI as inside the result and here, and this will basically integrate the whole flow for us. So yeah, this is something about the automation. I'll just like rerun it if you guys want to see, and then I just duplicate this part, duplicate proposal, and here I can have customer ABC, brand Y, brand for performance marketing, so and so, blah blah blah, and then the proposal is not created, and then I don't have the presentation ID in here. And then if this is the one that you want to run, then you can just like switch this on. I don't really want to run, so I just like click on run once here, so that it can be done from here. So I just click on run the workflow, and it is gonna create a proposal. From here, why is this not running? Okay, sorry. So I need to change this trigger to this. Make sure that your workflow trigger is properly set here, and then I click on run workflow, and this is gonna run this. It is gonna duplicate the proposal template, update the new account details, and update back into your slide into your Airtable, and then you can open the proposal in here. The new proposal created with J. Yeah, so no, this is not the one. So this was the one. Okay, there seems to be an error in here to update. Okay, I might have clicked the wrong one, so I'll just like rerun this, come back in here, and then I want to run this workflow. Yeah, perfect. Now this is gonna run. All the automations are gonna get fired, and then we can come here and then open the proposal from here. Perfect. Y brand and ABC as a person, and all the things got replaced. So yeah, this is about this automation. Um, uh, this particular automation of auto proposal generation and things like that have saved me more than 50 to 80,000 USD a year easily, because of the manpower that it involves, which also again has to be screened by me as an agency, as a sales guy. And then also the scope of mistakes is huge. And also, I mean, there were so many things connected to this part. So now that I have this automated, it makes my life much more easier. So please do like, subscribe, and if you have any kind of questions, please do comment below so that I can help you through that. Thank you.